you everyone, and welcome back. Thank you so much for your patience here today. We had a very long delay because the servers were going down. All kinds of issues were popping up. But again, thank you so much for tuning in and being patient. This is going to be the start of the grand finals between Tamland and Corningstone. Game 1 underway here as Ares finally makes it into the match. The banning phase got rid of Zeus, Chang'e, Mercury, and Freya instead of Ares. So Ares will actually be in this pickup, as well as Spartak Frank across the way.
Of course, they've ruined the natural order here, banning out someone who wasn't part of the 4 official arena bans of forever. Switching over means they're going to have to deal with Ares. And we're seeing Sun Wukong and Huanbots being picked up. Team Monkey Bro is online again. And we saw Sun Wukong being used to incredibly good effect in the last game. Able to dish out a ton of damage. He was actually the top damage for quite a while until in that game Freya started to hit her point where she just melts everybody with her 2-1 combo. And even after that, still dishing out lots of damage and control, and able to just kind of stand in the enemy team and not really care, just being a super bruiser.
Yep, and it works out really well. I mean, Sun Wukong has the ability to jump in there with the burst damage, has the cudgel right there, so great point with the fact that, you know, Sun Wukong getting picked up is a huge thing for them. And like you said, I mean, Freya turned out to be too much damage for them to deal with, so they ended up just getting rid of her, which of course let Ares through. So we're going to see the effectiveness of Ares in an arena setting today for the first time, surprisingly enough, with how many arena matches have been played up until this point. So we're going to see Sobek and Xbalanque selected, as well as Isis there for Corningstone. Kronos the first pick up there. They're going to lose Ares for a Kronos pick. Back over to Tamland, it will be Neith and Hebo. Hebo has been kind of hit or miss today, and Neith actually hasn't done a whole lot in the arena. Hebo does have the burst damage to get it done, but unfortunately enough, he just ends up getting focused or surrounded. He just doesn't have the protection that he needs in such a wide open setting.
Definitely a problem that's been plaguing him every time he's showed up in this game so far. We've seen the turbo focus just come down on his head, especially with enemy Tiers, who actually isn't in this game. Tier has been a pretty huge tool so far in getting individual pick. Is that a Legendaries? Is that a Legendaries? Oh, you may regret not banning the Ares. Not only did Ares get through, we have Legendaries.
And that's going to prove to be an issue for Cornerstone. Now, the thing is, Ares is a character that can be, you know, a bit of a detriment to his team if he's not picked up and used properly. And that's the biggest thing, is that his earliest stages are important. Looks like we do actually have a remake here, as one of the swaps possibly didn't go through or anything along those lines. So we're going to just let that one roll out. But again, Ares is a very strong character, and if he gets to the point where he's tanky enough to survive any counter harassment, his damage output is incredible, and it's something you always have to worry about, especially if he gets an ultimate off.
And even without the ultimate, I mean, the ultimate's an automatic beads burner for sure. It makes you react to it because it's so strong, especially in an arena setting where he's going to be able to consistently get 4 or 5 people with it. Even if you do survive the ultimate, Ares is such a good aggressive tank with the cripple and the high damage on his chains. And granted, that doesn't do a whole lot in Conquest. That's where you need peel and you need those sort of control abilities tanks have. But in Arena, where that doesn't matter quite so much because the area is so open, aggressive tanks like Ares, even just with his ability to chain and flame and just destroy people with the cripple so they can't get away, that's equally powerful.
It certainly is. So it looks like we do have a disconnect from one of the players in the picking stage that will end up being remade. So we're going to cut to a brief break right now as the players get ready to play again. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Code Black Arena Tournament, casted by myself, Driver, and Squiddish, presented by Tiermonster.com. We'll cut to a brief break, and we will be right back. Hey! Everyone, and welcome back to the first round of the grand finals. Tamland, Corningstone going up against each other in this arena matchup. Let's go and get unpaused here. I'm unpausing in 3, 2, 1, and go. And here they go to the buff camps.
As they all roll out, no one wanted to stick their head out like Ao Kwang did last game, where he got punished for it almost immediately. Just trying to get a little early push on the wave to give his team an early advantage. Ended up totally backfiring as he just got torn down as soon as the other team was done with the buff camps.
Looks like we do have another pause coming out here. It looks like the player who was the issue before for Tamland is having trouble getting back in. I'm actually going to go ahead and fast forward here, and we'll see if we can't get a pause there after. Make sure. It looks like he's back in here. Are you able to get through the pause?
I'm fast forwarding through it. Yep. All right, into the pause.
Alrighty there.
I'm paused at 3.
You're at 3. 5, 4, 3. All right. Unpause in 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 1, 0.
Perfect.
Alrighty here. So into the buff camps, you see all boots picked up except for Spectre on legendaries. Let's see if we can't pick up that sovereignty. It really is so important. I don't think boots is really that big of a deal for tanks in an arena setting. You're not really going very far, and you're really, your main value is going to be your ability to tank and hold the front line, which boots don't provide a whole lot of protections, regardless if it's Greaves or not.
On top of that, particularly for Ares, because of the fact that he steals movement speed with his chains, he's going to be moving fast enough during engagements anyway, because unless he totally whiffs his chain, he's going to have somebody chain, and he's going to have that movement speed bonus. They're getting a little close to each other. No one's really started any hard engagements yet, but they're definitely getting a lot more frisky, trading a lot more poke around than most of the previous teams have.
Yeah, these minions are going to meet up here in the center, in between all of these towers. Spirit Ball's being shot out on cooldown, stacking up these minions. Tower Assault's going to come through. They're pretty clustered. Ares is not level 5, unfortunately enough, so not going to get that ultimate up. We see level 5s propping up all over the place. In fact, everyone in the game looks like they're level 5 now, kind of balanced out across the way. So the ultimates will start to come out. Now, as far as, reacting to the Ares ultimate, Humbot's ultimate can force them backwards. Crushing Wave will do lots of damage. Sun Wukong can dunk down if he wants, but that's pretty much it. Maybe a good Spirit Arrow will hit a lot of them and root them in place. But there isn't a whole lot of AoE combination that they have there on Tamland. But how much they really need is the question. With how much damage output they have, if they get 1 or 2 picks out of it, it definitely is worth it.
Absolutely. We've had a few missed last hits already as we're getting a little bit of a ticket lead for Corningstones. It looks like Tamland has missed 4 or 5 last hits on the waves, which early on is where your ticket advantage is going to come from, is actually getting the minion last hits. Up until that first big explosion of violence that is the team fight, everyone goes all in and throws all their ultimates at, which hasn't happened yet.
Water Spout, Sobek's not going to land that charge there. There's the blinking from the Ares. Does they have an ultimate? Get 3 players here. Do they have anything to defend themselves? CC Media comes out, but not from the Isis. In fact, it comes out late. Circle protection. They're going to Crushing Wave. Going to get the first blood of the game here as Isis goes down. Shibbolunke, Darkness, Ares low HP. Towel Assault will finish him off there. Now go after Humbaz, who pops his ultimate, but runs right into a Sobek ultimate, who jumps over it. Does he have a charge spray? He's going to get it in time. He's not going to go for it as Guan Yu dies on the back end. And Hebo juggling around the obelisk here, around the little pillar in the middle. Is he going to survive is the question. Sobek tries to go over, doesn't have enough mana to use a Sickening Strike. Hebo will survive as Sun Wukong comes through, and looks like 452 to 457. Corningstone is ahead in tickets now.
That's all from last hit so far during that fight, as all the fight was just a 1-for-1 trade. Surprised you got the pull on that Isis. I don't know if she lagged a little bit, because of course she did pick up the beads. As you can see, all 5 members of Corningstone have beads, and only 1 of them is rank 1, and 3 of them are rank 3. They are not messing around with this Ares ultimate. They're taking that threat very seriously.
Shooting out some shots here from the Neath. There goes a stun on top from Sun Wukong. Throws out that Tiger. A stun hits Hoon Bots. Here doing some damage is the Kronos. Towel Assault from the Guan Yu. Now, of course, that is a big focus on the last hits, but the tickets are very close between Tamland and Corningstone right now. A Garut from Neath. He's actually going to get away from that one, just kind of jumping out of the danger zone as they just don't want to get caught out. Of course, they're going to force this away. There goes some harassment. Last hit still coming through. Stun on top of the Ox. Rising changes the burst damage. Are they going to have enough to get him is the question. Guan Yu ultimate, and there goes Sun Wukong. But Ares grabs 5, pulling 1 as everyone pops their beads in time. The chains are coming out. The damage is coming through. Hoombots wants to go for it. Does he have an ultimate? He does now as it just came off of cooldown. Will he go for it? Spirit Ball prevents him from doing so. Another Chronos Sun coming through as well. The darts are on top, and it looks like it's just going to be Sun Wukong falling down.
Yep, just a free pickup there. Unfortunately for Ares, his ultimate didn't really result in a whole lot of anything. Although Isis speeds weren't off cooldown yet, I guess, because she was unable to avoid that one. The Circle of Protection is a pretty decent counter, because she can throw that down, and anyone who does get pulled is going to get pulled into the circle where they're going to take reduced damage, and they're going to be healed immediately afterward. And any enemies who try to stay and overcommit are going to take a ton of damage. It's so good to counteract those big pull ultimates like Ares and Hades.
Ares is going to come through in the jungle, help Hoombots pick up that movement speed buff. The minions are meeting up right now, which are probably just going to skip and kind of clear this out themselves. Looks like it doesn't take a whole lot of effort for them to kill minions at this point. There goes the water spout. Spear, arrow, burst damage. Isis in trouble. There goes the Neath ultimate, and Isis will go down. Charge spray on Ares. And Wukong fighting Kronos in the backside. See if we can't get another kill on either team. Corningstone is in a little bit of a ticket deficit, but now they're going after Going, who dashes away. Does he have enough distance? It looks like he does. Sobek in trouble, but he's pretty tanky at this point. Spirit Ball not going to land, and Shibalanke, he's just focusing minions right now.
Sobek actually got chunked really hard by that water cannon from Hebo. I'm surprised by how much damage that did with just boots and a rank 2 Voidstone versus Sobek, who's going for tank boots and height of what I'm sure will be Urchin. Very powerful item in Arena just because everyone's nearby. You're constantly getting assists and whatnot. Sobek's actually taking a lot of damage on these Ares change as well. I guess he just hasn't really hit that point yet where he's very tanky. Ares ultimate is going to come out. Who's it going to pull? Just Isis once again, who is going to get immediately obliterated. She kind of missed the circle of protection. She put it under where she was, not where they were going to be pulled to. Ares dropping very low, but not going to die before Guan Yu does, although he is going to die. Shibalanke going to be very hard-pressed to get away from this one. Drops to the Hebo, and they're now trying to turn onto the Kronos, see if they can finish him off. This Sobek ultimate's going to do a lot of damage to Sun Wukong. Going to drop him very, very low. There's Charge Spray, throwing him back towards safety, but a good time rift through the wall finishes him up, and they're going to mop Neath up as well. What a cleanup.
380 to 366. Corningstone is in the lead right now. 6 minutes into this match. A perfect rotation from pretty much everyone on Corningstone. Isis got caught out early, but of course the follow-up was beautiful. And of course, Supanu on that Kronos through the wall, getting the kill, helping out his team prevent the escape. Spirit Ball coming out here. Isis in a lot of trouble, taking a lot of damage yet again. That seems to be their target of choice as they finish her off already. Neath kneeling down. Ultimate comes out, hitting on top of Kronos. Can't take the Kronos. There's the dunk down on top of her, and Kronos goes down. Isis goes down. Burst damage coming through. Sobek forced to disengage, and now they're free to take this minion wave for even more tickets, but it seems to be going back in Tamland's favor.
Yep, they have regained the advantage they temporarily lost there with those two kills. Cleaned him up, gave him about a 10-ticket advantage, but after the minion waves cleared out and all is evened in the world, it's 4 tickets. So it's a very, very close game right now. It's a less than 1 kill ticket disadvantage. Any direction, anytime. But it's kind of going to come down to who can get a big team fight winner, with Ares blinking in with a 4-man pull, but gets nobody. That's 4 beads burned, though. Everybody but Kronos just forced to use their beads.
We see the waves meeting up here, and of course all 4 players were removed with their beads. In fact, most of them have tier 3 beads. There's a 90-second cooldown. It's not that long, but they have a pretty short window where they can interact with it, of course, with the cooldown initiation. There goes the Hebo crushing wave. Isis is gone, but Hebo might go down as well. Water spout, few basic attacks, and Hebo goes down. Wombat's ultimate doing some damage here. There goes a kill on Guan Yu, forcing them away. Ares in trouble. Charge spray on the Wukong here, but they're going to get the Kronos. That's a big portion of their damage as Wukong heals right back up. Spirit Ball gonna hit on Wolfie Dearest. She's gonna go down here to the basic attacks. Ares trying to escape if he can. Charge spray, does he have it? The blink comes out. He's just fine. Hebo looking to kill off the Sobek, but needs to be careful as Isis and Shibalanke are on zoning duty, and they're gonna be very successful as they force them away. 327 to 318 right now with the tickets as the minions go down.
A good exchange there, a pretty great trade. Corningstone able to make up by picking up a kill at the end there. Sun Wukong just looping around the pillar with his Ox form so he doesn't get stuck in an engagement. Looks like there are a couple Magi's Blessings coming out on Ares and Sun Wukong to try and prevent any CC from letting the big beef castles walk in and do their job. They're big and they're beefy. They have a lot of CC. They want to get in the enemy team's face and be as annoying as possible. Magi's Blessing is going to mean that it's very difficult to peel them off of the enemy team's carries. And it's going to be hard for Corningstone, particularly for Sobek, to be able to defend Shibalanke, Isis, and Kronos.
Tiger form coming out here for Sun Wukong, going back into the mid lane. Looks like the buffs were picked up pretty much for both teams here. 8 minutes and 52 seconds into this match, 310 to 295. Ares ultimate coming through, not going to grab anyone, burning those beads yet again, and now this is a chance for them to initiate. Humbot's ultimate comes through, they're forcing the Isis back. There goes the Shibalanke dash, is going to be enough. Looks like they're going right for Humbot's. He's caught out, doesn't have a jump, doesn't have anything to escape. There's the Sobek ultimate, going to finish him off there on the backside. Ares going to start backing the middle. Neath ultimate stops the dash, actually, as Goyen tries to get away, but he's so stuck out. No ultimate, nowhere to go, and he falls down as well. Sobek, Kronos charged with finishing off what's left of Tamland, but can they do it? Sobek so very low. Hebo goes for it, doesn't get hit by the time rift. Can he get the water spout in time? Looks like he's not going to, but here come the respawn Squiddish. Can they finish him off? And indeed they will. The beads mean nothing right now, and our Ares as well kind of cut out here. There's the silence, there's the burst damage, and that's what happens when you push too far and extend the engagement too much. The respawns come out.
It is absolutely never worth overcommitting like that in Arena, because that will happen to you every time. Unless you've got an eye on the timers and you just dunked a lot of their team and the wave respawn is a ways out, that is going to keep happening. That's an extremely common mistake we see in Arena, both just in casual Arena play and in this tournament. We've seen it a few times. Extending the engagement to when the enemy team respawns, and any advantage you've gotten, any extra kills that you've picked up, any tickets you've managed to swing in your team's favor are all lost as you get crushed under the wave of opponents coming out of the base.
We do see initiation coming out here. There goes the burst damage. Sobek goes down first, actually, as someone goes through there going after the Chronos. Does he have a rewind? He's going to go for it. He's going to get it, actually, but that puts him back in danger. Humbot's ultimate gets a little bit of fear off. Spirit Arrow burst damage. Chronos goes down. Sobek and Chronos already out of this fight. Hebo caught by himself. Crushing wave goes through. Sobek looks like he wants to get the dash. He's not going to get it in time, as he's just too far away, and it looks like they're going to survive. Spirit Arrow hits both as he hits a broken weave, and now go after Sobek, but Sobek's pretty tanky here. Ares goes for those, but they have beads. The beads don't get popped. They do get popped at the very end there just to secure it. Spirit Ball not going to land, but it looks like Corningstone is pretty far behind now.
They're trying to make up the difference right now, but they're on the back foot as they get engaged on. Ice is dropping the Circle's protection pretty much right as she dies, unable to help herself or really anyone on her team. Charge spray from Sobek isn't going to land anything here. Sun Wukong going to charge right in with his Ox form, right in the middle of everyone, avoiding the stop time. He's in the Sobek ultimate though, but he manages to walk out of it. He manages to escape the slow before the damage comes out, and Isis is the only casualty in that fight, putting Corningstone just a little bit further behind. Spirit Ball's going to come out, stop time landing on the Hebo. Lots of burst damage going to come out. Hebo has been forced to pop his beads. He's going to get away though. He's going to make it back into his base, and now Corningstone's in a very bad spot. Guan Yu stuck under a lot of enemies. Wukong goes up into his ultimate and immediately dunks down and destroys Guan Yu. Somebody coming through with charge spray, trying to peel the Humbots off his team, but Fear No Evil's going to come out, and that is a dead Xbalanque with a Hebo wave coming through, putting him in position to finish off the Isis. There's a neat stun coming out of Sobek. Water Cannon landing so much damage. It's just up to Hebo to finish off this Sobek now as Kronos gets taken out by Sun Wukong, and that's going to be all 5 members of Corningstone torn down, and Sobek on the back end of the wave respawn timer.
229 to 179, a huge ticket lead for Tamland as they're just absolutely stomping across the board, winning these team fights. Now, of course, it was very even up until this point, but Tamland seems to be on a roll right now as their itemization is building up, and it's mostly defensive. Ares ultimate can grab anybody. All the actually, he just gets popped up there by Xbalanque. Ares coming through, initiation comes out. Chronos in a lot of trouble here as they're trying to focus him down. He's definitely very squishy. Ares flames coming out from his shield. There goes the wind gust. Actually, the time rift is on the ground. Spirit Ball comes out, trying to get some harassment out, forcing Humbots back. But again, they're very, very tanky. You see a lot of defensive items being picked up from everyone on Tamland, trying to keep themselves safe. You see a Bulwark of Hope, Breastplate of Valor, Voidstone, 2 Witch Stones, 2 Magi's Blessings, Sovereignty. I mean, they're very defensive. They just want to live as long as they can for extended engagement. It's working out very well for them.
So far it has. It's worth pointing out that although Ares isn't getting any pulls, every time he drops his ultimate down, he's grabbing 3 or 4 people and they're all using beads or Aegis. There's a lot more CC on Tamland than just his ultimate, and that's really the power of the Ares ultimate. They have to beads it. If they don't, they're going to die. And once they beads the Ares ultimate, what does that mean? You can't get out of weaves. You can't get out of Fear No Evil. You're going to get knocked around by Sun Wukong and Hebo. There's nothing they can do to avoid the other piles of CC, and especially Fear No Evil is getting guaranteed fear time on whoever gets stuck in the totem, because that beads has to be saved for Ares in his pull.
Yeah, that combination is really the only reason that Ares is picked up in a Conquest or Arena or just a general game mode where 5 people are working together with strategies. The fact that you can combo the Ares ultimate into burning the beads that they need for other things, and they won't have it. There you see all the beads being used. In fact, the Sobek ultimate was used defensively. Not going to do any damage here, so he's just going to hit the Ares. Sun Wukong up in the air, looking for an opportunity to pick someone up. Going right after the Isis. There's a Neath arrow as well. They're focusing perfectly, picking off the right characters right on Humbot's ultimate as the each amulet ends. Do they have enough damage? There's the water spout. Water cannon follows through. Shipalonki low HP. Can they get the kill? This would be huge for them. That's a lot of their damage. He does go down, and now the stun on top of Kronos. He's going to rewind, but how much does he rewind here? About half his HP bar. Neath backflips away, going after the Ares. Not going to land the dash. The stun will land on the Hebo, but he beads it on his escape route here. 185 to 127 as the tickets are going lower and lower for both teams. Tamland still in very much control.
With the two waves cleared out here, you can see about a 60 ticket advantage up to 65 as Kronos gets vaporized. I have no idea what he was doing up there. He was up there alone with absolutely no team support. And Tamland saw the opportunity and just collapsed. They all just piled in and destroyed Kronos. That's just a free ticket pickup for the team, and now the advantage is up to about almost 70 tickets in favor of Tamland. It's a big difference. It's going to be very difficult for Corningstone to come back from as we move into this fight here. They're going on the Isis. Circle of Protection's down the ground. Gets knocked up by the Ox form. The flames are coming out. Isis down to about half health, but no one's really there to follow up and finish her off, and that's most of the damage down. Sun Wukong's forced up into his ult. There's Fear No Evil, followed up by the Ares ult, which is going to be Aegis by Guan and Beads by Xbalanque. Unfortunately, now with both those ultimates down there, it's going to be hard for them to take advantage of the fact that everyone's used their beads. The Fear No Evil, had it been maybe a little bit earlier, would have at least prevented the Aegis, as Guan Yu would have been CC'd and unable to use that to get away with. At the end of the day, all these ultimates and nobody going down.
Yeah, really great play from both teams here. It looks like Corningstone wants to get something done in the mid lane. They're going for initiation, but they're forcing back Humbots. And again, Humbots is pretty tanky, but Neath isn't. A Time Rift will take about a third of her HP down in a single spell. The damage output from Kronos is definitely strong right now. That wasn't even with the Polynomicon follow-up that surely would have hit her there. So definitely want to start focusing on those squishies. It's something that Tamland has been doing this entire time, is focus on the right targets. Kronos and Isis have been picked off consistently every single engagement, whereas Corningstone doesn't really seem to be at the same level of cooperation where they're going for the same target every time. There's the Beads activation from the Sun Wukong preventing the stun from the time stop on Kronos, and again they're going to back off.
Well, Corningstone's been forced onto the defensive a lot. Tamland is forcing up a lot of these engagements here. So Corningstone doesn't have the luxury of being able to try and turbo focus one target down because they're forced to fight to try to keep themselves alive. And they're really getting shaken by these initiations. Like you see Isis get gone in on, and she just goes on whoever's going on her, just trying to survive, using her Spirit Ball defensively, using her Wing Gust to get away. She's being forced to fight back as Ares gets thrown into the middle of the enemy team here, but he just got his ultimate back. I'm sure he's totally okay with that because there it goes, blowing all those beads. The Isis ultimate comes out, damaging some more. Hebo does get taken down. Ares is able to blink away as Sobek doesn't quite make the distance with his charge spray. And now Sun Wukong is going to take up the rear here and actually get taken down before he can get back to the base by all the burst damage from Isis and Kronos, getting taken down even before Sobek comes out of his ultimate. But now Corningstone's here in the enemy territory. There's the Fear No Evil. It's an immediate kill on Kronos. Now they're going to go on the Isis, who drops her silence. Spirit Ball doesn't land, and it looks like she might get away. The Neath ultimate comes down, allowing Ares to catch up. But is he going to be able to kill her in the midst of all these enemies? He's landed a chain, and down she goes to the Sacred Monkey Bounce. Otterich going to go down as well on Xbalanque as the Hebo cleans up that one. And they're able to push back and clean up a lot of kills, fighting all the way back across the map.
They're going to get the buffs up as well. 18 minutes in this match, they're 106 to 32. So Corningstone has their work cut out for them. Now, of course, they have to get a lot of kills here, but once they get down to the 10-point threshold, they won't have to worry about, you know, those minions besides the big ones paying out those tickets, whereas Tamland does. But the gap right now is so hard to come back from. Ares blinks over the wall. There's the change. There's the initiation. The bubbles are still active here as Xbalanque tries to damage to Hebo, who gets out. Ice is looking for a Spirit Ball. The stun comes through. 4 versus 2 in the right side area. They need rotations on Tamland, or Cornerstone will try to turn this one out. Looks like it's looking good for them so far. Spirit Ball is not available just yet. There it goes, landing on top of the Ares. Gonna be enough damage. Ares goes down. Humbot's ultimate forces them away, but Corningstone's getting some momentum here. They're going after the Hebo. The burst damage from the Polynomicon is gonna finish off the Hebo here, or will it? Around the wall he goes. Oh my god, the water cannon almost one-shots the Xbalanque. but a safe crit will get the Hebo there on the backside. Neath Ultimate's going to pick him off. A perfect snipe from the Neath player, and now we have a 3 versus 3 in the mid lane. Looks like they might pick off the Isis yet again. Indeed, that they will. Isis goes to 1 and 11 here. Ares Ultimate pulls no one as beads are up yet again. 9 to 76. Squiddish Corningstone can only sustain 2 more deaths.
Chronos trying to dive in a 1v3 situation here and gets dominated immediately, dropping his team down to 3 tickets. He's unable to get into the rewind. I have no idea what he was thinking, possibly just because this game is pretty much mathematically over. There's virtually no way Corningstone can come back. Just might as well dive and go ham and try to pick up a kill or 2. But here they go into what will probably be the final engagement. If any member of Corningstone falls in this, it's going to be over. Sobek into lurking in the water. Zombot jumps in. There's the Fear No Evil. Isis is dropping down to about half. She looks to be the focus. All the burst damage. She ages the crushing wave. Circular protection keeps her alive and takes out the Hebo as she's able to pull back, but the Sun Wukong ultimate finishes her off, and that's gonna be the game for Tamland, taking round 1.
Round 1 goes to Tamland, 57 to 0. A very, very big victory. If it comes to the fact where you're that far ahead in the tickets, you know you're having a good game. And indeed they did, as you can see. I mean, Tamland played that perfectly. They set the pace. Like you said, they put Corningstone on the back foot, and they never let them push forward, going after Chronos and Isis repeatedly until they just could not get any action in the team fight. And, you know, for good reason. Isis is a very easy target to isolate. She has a stun, she has a movement speed, she has her ultimate to defend her, but what can she do to reposition herself if she's surrounded by a lot of CC and a lot of burst damage? There isn't a whole lot. She just comes down to the point where she can't keep up, and when the overwhelming amount of damage comes through, she just can't deal with it. However, 45,000 damage dealt by Chronos. That is a ton.
That's a lot of damage. Chronos went in, he went crazy, he laid down as much damage as he possibly could, but unfortunately a lot of those were in situations like that one at the end there. Well, he'll run in, 1v3, throw in a stop time and a rift, yeah, he did a ton of damage, but whoop-de-doo, you died, and none of the 3 people you engaged with are in any real danger of going down, even though you did a bunch of damage because you threw some AoEs at all 3 of them. It's a lot of damage, but also a lot of his 8 deaths were him just throwing his life away in unwinnable situations. And just to follow up on the Isis train of thought there, you can see she was forced into buying almost purely defensive items after Breastplate of Valor for CDR, going into a Bulwark and then an Idol of Concentration, just trying to survive Hebo and Ares' burst. Although it wasn't, I mean, it was a lot of Hebo. Hebo was doing a ton of damage to her, but Neath in the backline doing just about as much, just unloading with everything she had. Bot's doing just a little less than that. Sun Wukong even up at almost the 20k mark. Damage from both sources split relatively evenly. It's really hard to build against that.
It definitely is, and looks like Game 2 will be getting started here. Tamland has proven themselves to be very effective. And we saw them first in the semifinals. They played beautifully. They had about 111 ticket disparity, which is incredible. They go to the grand finals. They go up against a stronger foe here with Corningstone, but again, 57 to 0 is still a very strong victory here. So going to Game 2, Corningstone has to be careful about how they pick their characters. It didn't seem like Ares was a whole big, you know, from the front end, it didn't seem like Ares did a whole lot there, but he burned the beads and forced items that they would not have wanted to buy otherwise, and that's where Ares' hidden strength is the fact that he forces people to do things to counter him, which leaves them open to other things that Ares' teammates can do, and that's where the strength comes in. So we're going to cut to a brief break, guys. We wait for a second game to get started here. The players are going to get together and start loading up the lobby. The picking stage is going to be important. The first part of the game is going to be important. Watch the itemization, watch the engagements, and we'll see if Tamland can take this 2-0 or Corningstone can push this to Game 3. This is Code Black Arena Tournament. We'll be right back. Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Oh, this? You want to know how you could win all this, and much, much more, huh? Let's get started. Introducing Divine Intervention, a charity tournament hosted by Tiermonster.com, with all proceeds going to American Red Cross to aid them in their global disaster relief efforts. 32 teams will be headed by community members and will compete in a standard